Understanding airport runways. Hey smart guys, Mike here. In this video, we are going to talk about runway markings and factors considered during runway operation and construction. So, let's get started. The numbers painted on airport runways serve as identifiers for pilots, aiding in navigation during takeoff, landing, and taxiing. These numbers typically correspond to the magnetic heading of the runway, rounded to the nearest 10 degrees. For instance, if the magnetic heading of the runway is 273 degrees, the number painted on the runway will be 27. This helps pilots easily identify the runway's orientation, especially during low visibility conditions. Pilots align their aircraft with using the magnetic compass on board to match the heading of the runway. The runway numbering is done with reference to the magnetic north, and therefore they have to be updated time and again. Due to this issue, Canada has chosen to use the true north instead. Do you think other countries should do the same? Write your answers down in the comments section. Runway markings play a crucial role in guiding aircraft during landing, takeoff, and taxiing. They include centerline markings, touchdown zone markings, threshold markings, aiming point markings, and taxiway holding position markings. These markings ensure safe and efficient operations by providing pilots with visual cues for alignment, distance assessment, and runway exit points. Terrain. Runways are ideally constructed on flat terrain to minimize grading and drainage issues. Weather conditions. Factors like prevailing winds, precipitation, and temperature influence runway orientation and length. Obstacles. Runways must be free from obstructions like buildings, trees, and terrain features to ensure safe aircraft operations. A runway should be built in such a way that aircrafts approaching for landing can come in at a gentle glide slope and take off at a slow climbing rate without hitting obstacles on its path. Types of aircraft. Runway length and strength are determined based on the types and sizes of aircraft expected to operate at the airport. Bigger and heavier aircrafts require longer runways for takeoff and landing. Traffic volume. Airports with high traffic volumes require larger runways and more complex taxiway systems to accommodate frequent aircraft movements. International Civil Aviation Organization (ICAO) and national aviation authorities set standards and regulations for runway design, including dimensions, markings, and lighting. Cost. The construction and maintenance costs of a runway impact its design and materials used. Some runways are grooved to limit hydroplaning, and this proves costly. Economic benefits. Runway design may prioritize factors like capacity and efficiency to maximize the economic benefits for the airport and surrounding region. Prevailing winds. Runways are typically aligned to facilitate takeoffs and landings into the prevailing wind, reducing aircraft ground speed and enhancing control during critical phases of flight. In a case where we have two predominant wind directions, an intersecting runway may be built to allow for a headwind landing much of the time. Noise abatement. Runway orientation may also consider minimizing aircraft noise impact on nearby communities by directing flight paths away from populated areas. Geographic constraints. Geographic features like mountains, bodies of water, and urban development may limit runway orientation options. An example is when the prevailing wind blows from a region with obstacles, hence the runway cannot face into the wind. Therefore, aircrafts are forced to land with a crosswind. Parallel and intersecting runways. Airports with high traffic volumes often feature multiple parallel runways to accommodate simultaneous takeoffs and landings. Intersecting runways provide additional operational flexibility, but require careful planning to minimize the risk of runway incursions. Two parallel runways will have the same numbering, and so to avoid confusion, the numbers will have an extra letter R and L to indicate which runway is to the right and which is to the left. When it's three runways in parallel, the center one will have a C added to the number. Spacing and separation. Runways are spaced apart to ensure safe operations and comply with regulatory requirements for runway separation distances based on aircraft size and approach categories. Taxiway configuration. Taxiways connect runways to terminal areas and other airport facilities, facilitating aircraft movements on the ground. Their layout must optimize efficiency and safety while minimizing taxi times for aircraft. The design and layout of airport runways are carefully planned to ensure safe and efficient aircraft operations, considering various factors such as geographic conditions, aircraft requirements, regulatory standards, and economic considerations. Runway orientation, markings, and layout play crucial roles in guiding aircraft and minimizing operational risks at airports worldwide.